back.
We're back inside the shack.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm laughing. Anyways, I'm Maggie Reese.
And I'm John McManamy.
And we are truly back in our home.
They let us back inside now.
Yeah, the sun has come out in San Diego, and so have us.
Yeah, so have us. We're sunny and we're exuberant, and that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
Exuberance.
In Sweet Home San Diego.
In Sweet Home San Diego.
Did you know that's an actual song?
No, I've heard of Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe that's not the title, but my friend's a musician, and
Yep.
his song got real big in the 90s. And
Wow.
The tagline is Sweet Home San Diego.
Well, that other group stole it, yeah.
Yeah, and that's from Bucko 9. Shout out for Bucko 9.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway, yeah, we're going to talk about exuberance and mania.
And exuberance and mania are not to be confused with each other.
Okay, explain this to us.
Yeah, because exuberance is really a part of our personality, who we really are. It doesn't mean we're exuberant all the time.
Right.
But if you think of various personalities, famous people who've exhibited exuberance, like Louis Armstrong, for instance, in his music.
Right.
Nobody is saying Louis Armstrong was hypomanic and had to take a medication.
Right.
You know, that these are people who bring joy and light to the world, and there've been exuberant presidents too. Teddy Roosevelt was known for his exuberance. Okay, and Kay Jamison has written about this. Kay Jamison is the bipolar expert.
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody quotes Kay Jamison, but about 10 years ago she came out with a book about exuberance. And she looked at this as a feature. She hardly raised the issue of mania or hypomania. You can argue that Teddy Roosevelt was bipolar because he had depressive episodes in his life, and he veered toward being really go-getter, impulsive and everything. But an important part of his personality was exuberance. A journalist said, talking to him, and going home, it's like he had to wring his personality out of your clothes.
Right.
And he was this kind of president. Okay, he was a war hero. He charged up on a horse, on a hill in Cuba.
Right.
You
have to have some gusto there.
Yeah. So he grew up in New York City. Okay.
Right.
He had this promising career as a state legislator. In Albany. He was at a very young age. Assistant Speaker of the House, or one of those kind of things. And then his baby and his wife died all at once. Or maybe his baby lived, but his wife died. Okay.
Right.
And he spun into a deep depression. And this is the greatest thing. If you're very rich, what he did was he got somebody to care for the baby, and then he went out to South Dakota or someplace like that and became a cowboy.
Talk about a switch.
Talk about a switch. And he was a sickly kid. Okay, so he reinvents himself as this robust cowboy. Okay, now this gave him a love for the outdoors and nature.
Right.
And Kay Jamison describes this in his book because he teamed up with a fellow exuberant, John Muir, the nature guy.
Oh yeah.
And we talked a little about him, in our video. Check it out on the nature experience, because this is really good. And they went camping out in Yosemite, for about 2 weeks or 2 months during Roosevelt's term in office as president. So this is part of what got him to saving so much land for national parks and everything.
Oh yeah, when I went out to Wyoming last year, I saw the lodge
legacy
there that's after him, and where you sit out there and you're right by the buffalo, and it's just incredible.
Yeah, so this is his...
or the bison.
This is his great legacy. Bison. Actually, I lived in New Zealand, New Zealand and Australians make jokes on each other. So I think the New Zealand joke is, what's the how do Australians distinguish a basin from a bison? I'm going to wreck the punchline, but but a bison is what you wash your hands in.
I love it.
Yeah.
There you go.
So that's Teddy Roosevelt, the the
Yeah.
exuberance. So maybe we
Right.
can just take it from there, because we don't want our doctors medicating our personality out of us. So this is the point.
I would definitely say I have that exuberance about
Yeah,
me, and
yeah.
you do too.
Yeah.
I can come into like for instance, we were at this wedding in Scottsdale like 5
Right.
or 6 years ago, and they, the dance started, and there was not one person out there dancing, and I'm like, we got to get this party started. We're at a 5-star hotel. This place is awesome. I'm like, let's get this going. And I just lit up that room, and I got the whole place dancing. It's just so, I don't know, that's what I do. I just get the energy, that exuberance, and then I go with it. And it doesn't mean that I'm manic or out of control. I'm just like, that's just this light about me that comes out, and then it's infectious. And then people are like,
Yeah, I've
boom.
done that.
Yes.
Because I'm usually the only male out on the dance floor. And
Yeah.
I think we mentioned this, like,
Yeah.
guys, come on, get with it. There's a whole
women.
dance floor filled with women. They're over there. Why are you over here?
That's making no sense.
So I'll be on a dance floor dancing with 10 women at a time and just having a blast.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So that's not hypomanic.
Right.
That's my life spirit.
That's just you
coming out.
out.
It's just blooming, and it doesn't mean I'm going to be that way all the time.
Right. It's just like, I don't know, it just, it flourishes out. And it was funny, the next day, people are like, whoa, is Maggie really hurting? They're talking to Matt. Oh, she must have had a lot to drink last night. I had 0 drinks. I was just me having a fun time, being exuberant, and not manic, and not drunk.
Yeah, and a lot of people, okay, I can understand them not getting mania,
Right.
But what is it they don't get about exuberance?
Yeah.
I think Thoreau said, we lead lives of, or most people lead lives of quiet desperation. And yeah, I've been quiet and desperate a lot, because I've got a depressive side. But
Yes.
we do have, if we've got this exuberant side, why do we have to live? Why do we have to fit in with
The
people,
norm.
the normal, earthlings?
Yeah. I don't know, this just taps in all of a sudden, like Andy Berman mentioned once of...
Oh, Andy Berman, the author of Electro Boy.
Of Electro Boy. He mentioned one time he went into a room and he put a lampshade on his head in Beverly Hills, and he just, and he got the whole party started, right? I mean, that was just him being him and different, and he got the party going. And people, I find that the more of that I let out, the more people are like, wow, this is awesome. Like, it's just embrace your difference, your differences.
Yeah.
And like, even though we did an art night the other night in here and where I'm from, and I got 11 women to come out, and we were horrible at our art, but it got them out of their shell, and we were all just having fun. I'm busting out being crazy and painting the worst picture of my life, but I didn't care. And then this one lady is all, I like it how you totally don't even care that your picture's good. I'm all, no, I'm just bursting with excitement and fun.
Yeah,
Exuberance.
yeah, and
Back to exuberance.
And I can't understand, if I say to somebody, wow, blah, 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 and they're kind of like looking at me like
Yeah,
this.
like
It's
you have to rein it in or something.
But I'm thinking, what's wrong with them? Why can't they
right.
share my
Enjoyment.
joy of life?
Yes, and the excitement.
And I like being around exuberant people. I call them life enhancers.
Yeah.
These people make great leaders. Teddy Roosevelt, could inspire a country.
Yeah.
He had a progressive agenda. Now he was crazy with foreign affairs. He got us in a bad war in the Philippines.
Right.
So this is the dark side.
Everyone has their goods and their bads. And especially
nothing,
when you're at a president's state.
Yeah, nothing's all good or all bad. But
like I look at Ronald Reagan and I think, man, he did some awesome stuff. But dang, he did some bad stuff with the mental illness thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Every president you could look and you could be like, boy.
But they make good models.
Yes.
Like in another video, I brought out my Nixon Elvis coffee.
Yes.
So sometimes just reading some quick histories on the presidents can tell you a lot about mental health and mental illness, because they all had something happening. So
like Lincoln, like Abraham Lincoln. He had
depression.
some downward
he had some deep depressions.
But then he had moments of just amazing greatness.
Transcendent. And Joshua Schenck has written a great book on Lincoln's melancholia. That's the name of it. The depressions where Lincoln was able to kind of incorporate his depressions into becoming something totally transcendent.
Totally.
Yeah.
That everybody could.
Yeah.
figure out and relate.
And that, once again, there was a depressive side of Lincoln that wasn't really actually depression. So this is the flip side of exuberance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, call it being thoughtful, call it thinking deep. It's not to be confused with depression. But okay, so then we've got the exuberance side. Okay, now on one hand we separate exuberance from hypomania, but at the same time they overlap.
Right.
So there was this guy named Emil Kraepelin, the guy who defined manic depression way back at the beginning of the 20th century. And he said manic states tend to arise out of people with manic tendencies. And I will substitute the word exuberance for manic. So if you're happy and everything, even though you're exuberant and bursting, you still got to keep one part of your mind alert for the fact this could escalate into a hypomanic.
That's so true.
And the hypomanic is really when you're out of control. That's when you start dancing on tables or doing crazy.
Right.
It's one thing.
All reality is gone.
The reality you losing contact. You're starting to lose touch with reality, and you're unable to rein in your behavior. I give the example in my book, Not Just Up and Down. You've got your stereotypical librarian,
Mm-hmm.
and you've got Marilyn Monroe, okay?
Mhm.
And they're both dancing on tables. Now,
Mhm.
it's the same behavior.
Right.
But Marilyn's probably going to be okay because she's Marilyn. She's
Yeah, that's her.
larger than life. She's exuberant. You know, when Marilyn walks in the room, she's going to light up the place. Your librarian, nothing wrong with librarians, mind you. I love librarians. I love
Right.
reading books and everything. So,
Right.
but if you would take the stereotypical example, she's not going to light up in the room. She's probably more comfortable at home reading a book.
Right.
So if she's taken out and you see her dancing on a table, it's completely against her personality type.
Mhm.
So if you're a friend of the stereotypical librarian,
Yep.
you got to look after her because she may be safe, but she may go out and sleep with a guy and pick up an STD or something. So
Right.
in
That becomes
hypomania,
extremely serious. Yeah.
it's becoming serious.
Oh yeah.
On the other hand, you still have to watch Marilyn a little bit because exuberance can be that personality overlaps with mood states. So she could become hypomanic later, but for the time being, dancing on tables. I mean, you ever saw her in that movie with Jack Lemmon, and they shot part of that at the Coronado, and she's on a train, Some Like It Hot,
Right. Right.
and she's drumming a banjo or a ukulele,
Right.
and singing "Running Wild."
Yes.
I'm running wild, and it's and Jack Lemmon is flipping the bass around, and it's hysterically funny,
Yes.
and that's Marilyn Monroe.
That
now,
is
why
her.
would you want to take?
That.
Why
okay.
would you want to put a bushel basket over that kind of a light?
Right. Right.
And sometimes our doctors don't
That's what I
understand it.
feel like sometimes in life, I just, like, when I haven't been manic, but I feel like people are trying to rein me in, and I hate that feeling. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, this is just me. Just let me be me.
Yeah, and I think our world
But
is
we're
not,
back and forth with that. On
our
that.
world is not conditioned to it. I mean,
Yeah.
It's funny because we like, say, watching Robin Williams. The late Robin Williams.
Yeah, I loved him.
Yeah, we love him going nuts.
Yes.
When he'd go into a room, everybody expected him to light up a room. Everybody expected Marilyn to light up a room. So they permit it in certain levels where they're watching, but they don't like participating with us sometimes.
Yeah.
So sometimes, our behavior is suspect because if there's a party, they'll need you to get it going, or they'll need Andy to get it going. But sometimes, some shy guy doesn't want to get up on the dance floor with you. And he's used to a life of preparing tax returns for people. And
Right.
I don't know whether it's personality or whether this is the exuberance has been conditioned out of us because, when you look at kids, they're exuberant.
Yes.
And you're raising a daughter. So tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, I let my daughter go wild and just run with the, she's just wild and fun, and I don't contain that because I want her.
Kids are so fun.
Yeah, they're so fun, and I see all around me, though, parents are like, no, 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 no. And I'm just like, seriously, just say yes. Just let them go and dance in the rain and roll in the mud. Go catch crawdads. Yesterday, our kids were catching crawdads in the creek, her and her little buddy. They're stringing them up on the fish lines and they're putting them in a bucket and letting them clamp onto each other. I mean, that's awesome right there.
Yeah.
You know, just say yes. I feel like my daughter's always singing the rap song from Meghan Trainor, and I don't even know how it goes, but everything in the song goes, my number says no, and I say no, and this no, and I feel like that's society today. Everyone's saying no, 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 and I'm like, no, just say yes. Say yes. Let them be. Let the child that you were as a kid come out and have a good time, and don't worry about everybody and their thoughts.
And this is important, Maggie, because it's really important because we're depressed a lot of the time. We're depressed way more than we're manic or hypomanic.
Yeah.
So when we're finally feeling
good. I know. I want to go wild with the goodness. I'm like,
we
yes.
we really do have to savor it.
Yeah. So, I savor every second of it. When it comes, I'm all yes. I'm like, yes, let's travel. Yes, let's get outside. Yes, I'm on the paddleboard. I just say yes, 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 because I know it's going to go away.
It's going to go away.
And then I'm in bed, and I'm like, oh, I got to get to the hot shower.
And even when I'm alone, okay.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm practicing my didgeridoo or if I'm writing, I can still be exuberant because, if I'm powering out stuff, this is and even if there's nobody around, it's like, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so last week, for instance, we're going to let you in on a secret, folks. Okay,
secret.
Last week we shot a whole batch of videos, but we fooled you by, putting on different layers between. We really didn't do it in 13 different days.
No.
Okay, so we powered those out, and so that was exuberant. I got home to edit the videos, and I love the results, and I love doing the editing. So that's part of
my
energy,
right? You're
it's part
like,
of
yes.
Yes, I'm exuberant, and I'm not socializing around people, but it's like
you're excited.
I'm excited, and this has given me a reason to leave, and the reason, because the week before I'd been suicidally depressed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me why. If somebody out there has an answer. Tell me why I should be reining in my exuberance, right after I've come out of a suicidal depression.
Right.
What is the sense in that?
Yeah.
It's
like you're now in a wonderful place. Let's stay there. Let's enjoy every moment. And if I want to yell and go crazy and whatever,
we
who cares?
We celebrate this in the movies, for crying out loud.
I know.
Just think of any movie where.
Think of Robin Williams and Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh my God!
What's that from 1995? And they're doing the song "Jump," and they're all jumping, jump. And so, you know what I do with my daughter and my husband? We put that on because that always sticks in my brain, that scene where they're all jumping and the song is "Jump," and we all start jumping around the living room, and it's awesome. It is so awesome.
It lifts everybody up.
Oh yeah, Matt, who my husband cannot dance a step. He just starts jumping around, and Allie starts a gut laugh, and I'm laughing, and we're all just laughing and enjoying.
It's infectious. We're bringing life. And another Robin Williams movie, Dead Poets Society.
Oh, I love that movie.
Okay, yes. so it's got all these uptight rich kids, and they're being raised by their uptight families to conform, to go into this field.
The prep schools
and all that. Mm-hmm. And Robin Williams is the renegade teacher.
Yeah.
And he's getting them impassioned about poetry.
Yep.
And
he's taking them out of the box, out of the comfort zone.
And they're feeling exuberance, and of course that gets them into all kinds of trouble because society doesn't.
They don't want that.
Oh.
And I feel like in life, I don't know, I feel like sometimes my purpose is get people out of their boxes, and maybe they don't have bipolar and all that. That's not my whole focus, but I like to get people out of their shells and be like, hey, try this. Don't conform to this and this and this. Don't stay in the straight line. Take a swerve.
Yeah.
Try something else.
Well, I actually talked to Kay Jameson about that. Okay, so she was, so she's the author of this book on exuberance. And I forget the question I asked, but it was kind of like people don't trust people who are exuberant.
Right.
And she said she gave the example in her book of, in Winnie the Pooh, Tigger.
Yeah.
They wanted to take Tigger down to size, make him an unhappy Tigger, a melancholy Tigger. Now the plan backfired, but it showed, Kay Jameson pointed out to me, it shows the distrust society has for exuberant people.
Right.
But you know, people who have really meaningful careers, and Kay Jameson's book is full of this.
Yes.
She describes one scientist. He says, "I can't believe they pay me for this." He designed. He was responsible for the mission project that landed a space object on an asteroid.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
That's what animates him in life. Gets him excited.
Yep.
And she says if it wasn't for his exuberance, you know, he would have never gotten through the NASA bureaucracy, because they would have said, "Oh, just."
They would have shut him down, right?
They would have shut him down. They said, "Okay, we'll just fly by the asteroid," and that exuberance propelled him. And once again, it's like.
And that's what we need. We need the exuberance to propel us through the illness of bipolar.
Oh, we've got this. So when the doctors, you know, see us looking happy and they're thinking of raising our meds, you got to argue with your doctor about this, or
I would agree,
or switch doctors. You know, but the important thing is you got to, in your own minds first, appreciate the difference between exuberance and being out of control. You know, one is your experience in this full self that is you naturally, and sometimes we do have to adapt to society, you know, but that's wink wink, you know.
Doesn't mean we can go out and break all the laws, but
we can't break all the laws. We can't drive through red lights and stuff. That's hypomania. When you're driving through red lights, you're
Correct.
going into hypomania and mania. But you know, when you're driving and you're playing the song loud on your car radio, you know, that's exuberance. You're feeling good, and we've got to be in touch with that, because that's how we get through life. So yeah,
I would say that hits it the nail on the head.
That's the nail on the head. Right.
And we have some our own books that we just want to share at the end. And if you watch our video series, then you see that we bring them out every time.
We bring them out every time, but you know, if we don't do this,
we make a living.
That somebody in charge fires us.
Right.
I'm my own boss, and he's a bastard.
And so my book's Runaway Mind, and it chronicles my own life experience at 19 with bipolar and how my family helped me. So really good memoir.
Oh, that's a terrific memoir. Yeah, I really.
Thank you, John.
Yep. And this is mine. Not just up and down. It's all about mood. It's the first book in my Bipolar Expert series, and I do talk about the difference between exuberance and hypomania in it. We've got to know ourselves. Okay? So check us out.
And then we also have, John's got other books as well, so you can just check him out. And he's had a website. Is it John McMahon?
McMahon at McMahonweb.com.
There it is. And it's just like a wealth of information. So I would encourage you to go to that as well and subscribe on our YouTube channel. And that's a wrap for today.
That is a wrap.
Awesome.
Woo!
Thank you.
This is his great legacy. Bison.
Well,